Here's something that drives me absolutely crazy. Most people aren't completely clueless about money. They know they should have an emergency fund. They've heard of a 401k. They understand investing is important. They've got the pieces. What they don't have is the order. And without the order, the pieces don't work. You've got someone investing in individual stocks while carrying credit card debt at 22%. Someone maxing a Roth IRA while their employer match sits completely unclaimed. Someone building a $30,000 emergency fund while high interest debt quietly compounds in the background. It's not ignorance, it's sequence failure. Doing the right things in the wrong order and wondering why the math never quite works out the way it should. My name is Dave, and I love helping people stop doing right things wrong and start doing them in the order that actually builds something. Today, we're going through the exact sequence for deploying cash, step by step, in the precise order that maximizes every dollar. And I'm going to tell you not just what each step is, but exactly where people fall off at each one. Because knowing the order is only half of it. Understanding where it breaks down is what actually keeps you on track. But before the steps, let me show you why order matters more than almost anything else in personal finance. Think about it this way. You wouldn't build a house by putting the roof on before the foundation. Doesn't matter how good the roof is. Without the foundation underneath it, the whole thing comes down eventually. Money works exactly the same way. Every step in this sequence exists because it creates the foundation the next step needs to stand on. Skip one, and the steps above it are always at risk. The average person approaches their finances like they're picking items off a menu. A little investing here, some debt payments there, maybe an emergency fund when they remember. It feels like progress because money is moving. But without the sequence, you're building the roof first and wondering why everything keeps collapsing. Here's the sequence: 7 steps. Every dollar you have gets deployed through this filter in this order. Not because it's arbitrary, because the math demands it. Step 1: a starter emergency buffer of $1,000. Not your full emergency fund, just $1,000 right now, before anything else. Here's why this step exists and why so many people skip it. $1,000 sounds small compared to everything else in this sequence. People want to jump straight to the exciting stuff. Investing, debt payoff, the steps that feel like real progress. But without $1,000 liquid, every single step above this one is vulnerable. Your car needs a repair, your laptop dies, a medical copay arrives, and suddenly you're pulling money back out of wherever you put it, going into debt to cover the gap or stopping your investment contributions to handle the emergency. The $1,000 isn't about the emergencies themselves. It's about making sure emergencies can't derail every step above it. Where people fall off here, they treat this step as optional. They've got $400 in savings and figure it's close enough. It isn't. Get to exactly $1,000 and don't move to step 2 until you do. Step 2. Capture every dollar of employer match. If your employer matches retirement contributions, this step happens before you pay off a single dollar of non-emergency debt, before you build your full emergency fund, before almost everything. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. Shouldn't you eliminate debt first? Here's the thing. Employer matching is a guaranteed 50 to 100% immediate return on every dollar you contribute up to the match limit. Show me another investment that guarantees that kind of return on day one. You can't, because it doesn't exist anywhere else. If you're carrying credit card debt at 22% and your employer matches 100% up to 4% of your salary, you still contribute the 4% first. The 100% immediate return beats the 22% interest rate. The math is that clean. Where people fall off here, 2 places. First, they don't know what their match actually is. They enrolled in whatever default their HR department set and have no idea if it captures the full match. Check this today, not tomorrow. Today. Second, they stop contributing when money gets tight and forget to restart. Every month the match goes uncaptured is a guaranteed return permanently lost. You cannot go back and claim it later. Step 3. Eliminate all high-interest debt. High interest means anything above 8%. Credit cards, payday loans, personal loans at double-digit rates. Gone. Before the next step, every extra dollar you have after minimum payments goes here until it's done. Here's the version of this most people miss. Paying off a credit card at 22% produces a guaranteed 22% return on every dollar used to pay it. That is better than Warren Buffett's long-term average in the stock market. You are not sacrificing returns by paying off high-interest debt first. You are capturing the best guaranteed return available to you. The method is the avalanche. List every high-interest debt by rate. Pay minimums on all of them. Every extra dollar goes to the highest rate first. When it's gone, redirect everything to the next one. Mathematically, this saves the most money. You stay the course until every account above 8% is closed. Where people fall off here, they make progress and then lifestyle creep quietly refills the credit cards, the balance goes down, the available credit goes up, and 6 months later, they're back where they started. The solution is simple and uncomfortable. Stop using the cards entirely during payoff. Not forever. Just until the balance is zero and the habit of carrying a balance is broken. Step 4. Build your full emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of actual monthly costs. Not income. Costs. The money required to maintain your life if your income stopped tomorrow. You built $1,000 in step 1. Now you finish the job. This money lives in a high-yield savings account paying 4 to 5%, not a standard savings account paying you essentially nothing. Same safety, same accessibility, just actually compensated for sitting there. The reason this step comes after high-interest debt rather than before it is simple. High-interest debt compounds faster than an emergency fund grows. Every month you're building the fund, instead of eliminating 22% interest, the debt is winning the race. Get rid of the debt first, then build the full cushion with nothing bleeding on the other side. Where people fall off here, they treat the emergency fund as a general savings account. They dip into it for things that aren't emergencies. A sale they couldn't pass up. A trip they wanted to take. A gadget they convinced themselves they needed. The emergency fund has one job. If you're touching it for anything other than a genuine emergency, it isn't working. Keep it in a separate account from your daily banking. Out of sight makes it significantly easier to leave alone. Step 5. Max your tax-advantaged accounts. This step has an internal sequence of its own, and the order inside it matters almost as much as its position in the overall framework. First, Roth IRA to the annual limit. In 2025, that's $7,000 or $8,000 if you're 50 or older. The Roth gives you tax-free growth and tax-free withdrawal in retirement on everything it earns. You pay taxes on the money going in. Everything it becomes after that, the government never touches it again. There is no better long-term compounding vehicle available to ordinary earners. Second, back to the 401k, beyond the employer match up to the annual limit of $23,500. The 401k reduces your taxable income today and lets the money grow tax-deferred until retirement. It's less flexible than a Roth, but the tax deduction now is genuinely valuable, especially as your income rises. Third, the HSA if you're eligible. The health savings account, which is the only account in the entire American tax system that gives you a deduction going in, tax-free growth inside, and tax-free withdrawal for medical expenses coming out. 3 separate tax advantages in a single account. $4,300 for individuals, $8,550 for families in 2025. If you qualify, this belongs in the sequence before the taxable account every time. Where people fall off here, they pick one account and ignore the others. They max the 401k without ever opening a Roth. Or they open a Roth and forget to actually invest the contributions, leaving the money sitting in cash inside the account earning nothing. Contributing to a Roth and not investing it is one of the most common and most invisible mistakes in personal finance. The account is just a wrapper. The money inside it needs to be invested in something for the compounding to happen. Step 6. Taxable brokerage account. You've captured the employer match, eliminated high-interest debt, built the emergency fund, maxed every tax-advantaged option available to you. Now you invest in a regular taxable brokerage account. Low-cost index funds. No contribution limits. No withdrawal restrictions. Complete flexibility. The tax situation here is different from your retirement accounts. Dividends get taxed as they arrive. Gains get taxed when you sell. But hold investments for more than a year, and you qualify for long-term capital gains rates, which are significantly lower than ordinary income tax rates. The strategy is simple. Buy low-cost diversified index funds, hold them for the long term. Let the compounding work. Don't sell unless something in your actual life requires it. This is also where money for goals beyond retirement lives. House down payment timeline over 5 years. A future business. Early retirement bridge funding before retirement accounts become accessible without penalty. The taxable account is the most flexible wealth building tool you have, precisely because it has no rules about what it's for. Where people fall off here, they finally get to this step and get overexcited. They start picking individual stocks. They try to time the market. They chase whatever performed well last year. The research on this is pretty consistent. Most active stock picking underperforms a simple index fund over a 10-year period. The boring thing works. The exciting thing usually doesn't. Step 7. Automate the entire sequence. This is the step that makes all the others permanent instead of aspirational. Every step in this sequence requires a decision to execute. And decisions require willpower. And willpower runs out. By Thursday evening after a long week, the version of you that was very motivated about the optimal cash deployment sequence on Monday is considerably less interested in thinking about it. Automation removes the willpower variable entirely. Your emergency fund contribution transfers the day after payday without you deciding to do it. Your Roth IRA contribution moves on a schedule. Your 401k contribution never touches your checking account. The sequence executes whether you're motivated or exhausted, disciplined or distracted. The one rule that makes automation actually work. Every time your situation changes, update the automation. You get a raise, increase the contribution amounts. You pay off a debt, redirect that payment to the next step immediately before the budget absorbs it. You hit the full emergency fund, redirect that contribution to the Roth. The system runs itself, but you have to update the flight plan when the circumstances change. Where people fall off here, they set it up once and forget it exists. They get a raise 2 years later, and the automation is still running the old numbers. They paid off a debt 6 months ago, and the money quietly disappeared into lifestyle spending instead of moving to the next step. Review the automation every 6 months. It takes 20 minutes, and it's the most valuable 20 minutes in your financial calendar. Here's the thing about this sequence. Most people will never complete all 7 steps. The average American savings rate is 4.6%, which means most people are somewhere between step 1 and step 3, and staying there indefinitely. If you get through step 4, you're already doing better than most people around you. If you get through step 5, you're in the top tier of wealth builders in this country. Not because the steps are difficult, because most people never had the sequence laid out clearly enough to follow it. Now you do. 7 steps. In this order. Every dollar through this filter before it goes anywhere else. That's not complicated. That's just the order the math has always demanded.